What is up, YouTube? It's Audio Monster here. I think you know what you're looking at here. It's a Marshall Haze 40 combo. I thought it was pretty cool, to be honest with you. Guess wasn't doing a full review here. I was just going to tell you my quick opinion, but might as well just go over the panel here. Thought the echo, the vibe in the chorus were decent. Nothing radical. They're all very usable. I think every effect in the world is usable. It's all how you apply it. So they weren't bad at all. The reverb's not bad. It's not like special or anything. So there they are right there. There's these clicks for true bypass. So you don't have, these are digital effects. So if you true bypass them, you don't have any digital signal going. It is a raw tube amp. On here you have your standard, well, I guess they're all a little different. So I'll just say the EQ is kind of standard, bass, middle, treble, and the presence, okay? And as you'll see, I have it really cranked up in the treble and the presence. That's the reason why I was making this video, is I just thought this amp was kind of dull. Maybe you would call it vintage sounding. I'm not really sure, but I just thought that there was tons of bass. The middle, there was tons of middle and just not much treble. It might be the speaker. I tried another speaker. I'll talk to you about that in 1 second. I didn't enjoy the way it acted with another speaker. But so this, it's reactive, but there's not much treble in this amp or whatever. I've seen some videos where people replace the output transformer and it cleans it up. I guess people say it sounds like a blanket's taken off it. If that's the problem with this amp, is that they made a couple cheap components, then that's the problem with it. And I think they should address that before they make it, personally, if that's a sound quality issue. So that's a dislike on this amp. Now these are more traditional. For sure, you have only two. It's a 2-channel. Okay, so you could call it 3 or whatever, as in you have your normal, your bright works on both channels. I always had to have it engaged, and that's what's so stupid, is they made a bright switch and it doesn't even make it. If you make a bright switch, it's got to be like too bright. Like, right, you want to be able to dial down your treble and stuff. It still wasn't even high enough with that on ever. So on your normal channel, you have bright on that, and they say that it like tones, the higher you get this, the brighter it gets on that channel. On this channel, it's full bright no matter what volume. There's no, so obviously on this one, I've never turned it up to there to see how bright it is. I don't really care. I would never turn it up to 10. It's quite a loud amp, I'll say that. On the overdrive channel, the brightness, they say, is all the way up. There's no curve to it or linear or whatever you want to call it as it's added in. It's just full on, and it's never bright enough. So this one's a good channel. Sounds great. And when you hit boost, it's kind of like crunch, but not really. They say it's more like a JCM 800. So like if you have it this off, it's like Marshall's clean channel, and this is Marshall's old school clean channel. So it's not crunch. Okay, so that's one cool thing about this. If you like the old school JCM 800 Plexi or whatever, the fact that it's not really clean. That's this front channel. Okay, now the second channel, you click that to engage it, and that's I don't know if they would call that an overdrive channel or if they called that a crunch. Well, it says overdrive, but do you get what I mean? Like in the old days, I guess they did always call it overdrive. I'm just zoning out here. I guess they always had clean, crunch, OD, and O2 on the new one, so that would make sense. Yeah, normal and overdrive. So yeah, this is like an older school overdrive also. It's not like, I guess it is kind of like the overdrive 1, when you would have an overdrive 1 and overdrive 2 button on a Marshall. The overdrive 2 is more metal. This is definitely like Overdrive 1, but it's more vintagey too. So I would call this amp more vintage modeled. That's just my personal opinion. I'm fine with that. I think it sounds great. For living room, I play it in the living room, so it's a little bigger in a bedroom. It's still too loud for me. Like, this is about where I play it, and it's kind of loud. I've never turned it up to there. That would be probably redonkulous. I'm playing it around here. I don't know if that, like, it is a tube amp, so I know they get nice and crunchy around here, so I'm never getting anything that matters. I don't know. I guess that's kind of my deal here, is like, you need like a 5 or a 1 watt if you're just hanging out at home, even to get that sound. Like, say, I'm never going to be in a band, but if you are in a band, this would work. I think 40 watts is dang loud. I mean, it really is. I think this thing would work. I think you just have to use an EQ and use treble boosters, like I used a Klon Centaur clone, and it did boost the treble. But I don't know, dude. I felt like it cut more of the bass out, and it kind of, something weird happens whenever you use some sort of treble boost thing. It feels like more bass is pulled from it to fake like the treble's higher. I don't know. So, point being is, though, this is a little bit dark for me. I like it, though. I really do. But it's too loud, too. Like a 15 watt tube amp, I bet the Haze 15 is a lot easier to get a crunchy, overdriven sound without like blowing the place up. My wife doesn't really complain or nothing, but it's just too loud. It's too much power for me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to use it at such a low volume, how are you ever going to get what it's meant to sound like? That doesn't make much sense. Like, I'd have to be in a large bar or something. Like, say you had the whole basement. That would make a little more sense. Like, if you were cranking... Like, my living room's pretty long, actually. It's joined with the kitchen, so it's about 50 or whatever, some feet long. So it is pretty big, but it's not all to myself. Like, say you had the basement, and it was like 40 by 60 or something. Then this might work. You know, you might be able to like play it at a decent level, but it's probably going to blow your ears out. I don't know. So I think this is for like a gigging musician personally, or something that's going to be in a larger room. And it's a little dark, okay? And what's weird is, okay, another thing is, here, I'll just turn this sucker around here. This effects loop here, I used it. And it says it's at instrument level. There's instrument level, line level, and something else. Mic level. And this is instrument level. So for some reason, like when you click this on and off, sometimes without anything plugged in, it's supposed to be... it's supposed to not affect it if nothing's plugged in and you push that in. It's supposed to have some sort of bypass. But it would get like half as quiet. And then for some reason, when I plugged in a certain pedal, it would work when you'd press it in. I don't know how to explain it. So there might be something weird with the effects loop on this, the way it's a button. I don't know. People have complained about it. But I thought it was pretty awesome until I plugged in an 8 ohm speaker there. When I plugged in an 8 ohm, I bolted it in and everything. I plugged in an 8 ohm speaker, and it played fine for a while, and then all of a sudden it literally like crunched out and went to crap. So then when that happened, sorry about my phone. I'm just using a phone. I really should start using a camera so I don't give you guys like brain seizures and stuff from crap. So it started fuzzing out and crapping like it was doing something wrong, and then I hit standby, okay? And as the standby was going on, or, you know, going away, so it's like gonna not hear sound for a second, it like started to sound right. So then I left that on for a second, and when I turned it back on, it worked. It didn't have any distortion. Like, and I don't mean distortion, I mean like gone sound distortion, like I was like, what the heck just happened? So it did not like 8 ohms. And no, I didn't have two things plugged in. I had one thing, just one 8 ohm speaker, one 12-inch. I mounted it in the cabinet, and I plugged that into the 8 ohm. And that should draw just 8 ohm from the cab instead of 16. It didn't like it. I don't think it liked it. So, not good. All right. So, I bet you that's what people are doing. They're like plugging in cabs. Most cabs are 8 or 4 ohm that are 4x12s, and it probably goes to crap. But I think it actually sounds pretty good. It works fine with the 16 ohm. It's just a little too powerful for me, my personal tastes. And never zoomed in like that. Sorry, guys. I'm all brightening things up and everything. I guess my phone's got all kinds of crap going on. But anyways, so it's just basically, I've explained it. It might be for you. It's not bad. It's not bad. All right, guys. Enough of me just fluttering on. Audio Monster out.